The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Hey guys, it's DDJ along with the Premier Joey K and the Hot One Jay Minacho. And normally we kind of like to, start off right away with having a lot of fun, but we're gonna get a little serious here, and we want to dedicate this episode to the memory of two members of the wrestling community who we recently lost, both at very young ages. This episode is going to be dedicated to Chicagoland area independent wrestler Austin Fury and former WCW Cruiserweight champion Daffney. Both, again, lives were taken very tragically. So we're going to start this off with a 10-bell salute and then on with the show. It's okay to ask for help. You can call the 24-hour National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255 or text the crisis text line. Just text HOME to 741-741. All right, guys. It's on with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Shootin. Alrighty then, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, this is Shootin. I just gotta have a reason to play the beep every once in a while. So, and as always, I'm your one of your three hosts here, DDJ. To my left, I've got the Premier Joey K, and right below us, I have the Hot One Jay Minacho. Gentlemen, how we doing this evening?
Doing fantastic tonight. Ready for a great show, some good questions, and some hot takes.
Man, for all of you that know, it is Sunday Fun Day. There is no other better day to be recording. We got a full week to digest all this fun that's going on. Let's get to it, gentlemen.
Real quick before we do get on, Jay, I got a question for you.
Hit it.
Would you be this bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and cheery if the Cowboys had lost today?
I'd like to plead the fifth.
Exactly.
Well played. All right, well, we're going to start off with something that could have easily made our show last week, but we had to cut due to time constraints and stuff. Last week, we had the premiere of the new NXT 2.0, completely different look, a complete overhaul to the I don't think they call it the Capitol Wrestling Center anymore. It's a new era. Gentlemen, so let's do it. Thoughts on NXT 2.0? All right. So, yeah, we had NXT 2.0 launch with a completely different look, a lot of new faces, and some familiar ones as well, too. Guys, what did you think of NXT 2.0? Joey, let's let you lead off.
I didn't like it. I don't like it. Wow. I haven't liked the NXT product in a long time. Here's my hard, firm stance. I hate wrestling weddings. I'm not a fan. So when that main event's over an NXT title match, I'm out already. I'm out. I don't buy that story. It's a carryover. If they want to revamp NXT, they should have got away with a lot of the stories they had. However, Things I do like. I do like the colorful set. I do like that it's bright. It looks different. It has a different, complete vibe to it, and I enjoy that. I like it brighter, more vibrant. Things I don't like. I have no idea who was even on this show for the most part. Like, it was just, let's parade a cast of recruits out here and see what hits. I don't like Braun Breaker's name. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And the fact that it was quite possibly a last minute change, that was hot garbage. You have a second generation wrestler from one of the toughest wrestlers of the 80s and 90s. And his son looks very similar to him, has a very similar style, can probably, just in what I watched, get over on that alone. That kid's got it. And they changed his name to this goofball name, and but either way, parading talent out that nobody has any idea who they are, or if they do, it's very, very limited. I just wasn't a fan. I didn't buy into it. It's either you go all in or you don't go at all. And meaning which, let's restart NXT completely. That's what I thought was supposed to happen, right? But we still have this old guard that's still there. And I just don't get it. I don't like it. I wasn't a fan of it. Like the lights. That's about it.
This is wait before Jay gives his take. This is supposed to be a positive wrestling community. Oh wait, that's already been tried.
Yeah, look, I'm going to be honest with you. There's not a lot of positives I've found in NXT whatsoever. I don't find positives in that. I don't find positives in the wrestling community currently, which we'll probably touch on later. Come on. I'll do my best to cheer up some about it.
All right, Jay, what do you got?
I'm going to try to bring us up. I'm going to bring us up because Joey just took us down. I love Double Dare. I mean, NXT 2.0's new set. The way that the seating is set up, the way the colors flash and all this, it feels like Double Dare 2000. I'm waiting for Mark Summers to come out and announce that someone's going to pick the giant nose. God, man. To me, it just looked wonky. It looked cartoony. The seating with the people there just looked off. There are no guardrails. Are we not going to fight outside the ring? What are we doing? And then the biggest disservice is putting LA Knight in the first match against Breaker, and then he's still in the title match even though he lost to a nobody. Why? Then they put in this new kid at the end who did really well. That might be a future star, but who is he? Why do we care? Why is he in the final? Question marks. I'm not going to kill the wedding because I've loved that storyline for so long.
Yep.
I popped. Okay. That's the only thing that got me on this damn show is the I do. But man, it feels like NXT doesn't know what it wants to do. They want to be new, but they give Ciampa the belt back and get him back with Goldie. They want to be new, but they're still holding on to some old storylines. They want to be new, but Damian Priest is showing up to party. What are we doing, NXT 2.0? It feels like it was a bad relaunch. Whoever was the person who thought of all this, you should have just gone with the complete clean rip. You let us all know this is not going to be the same NXT. What we got is a weird, bastardized NXT with colorful lights, and it might be nice when Disney takes over because that's probably what they're looking for.
Man, oh man, you guys! I feel like I'm gonna give my take here, and you guys are just gonna eat me alive because I actually really enjoyed it. Like I enjoyed it way more than I thought I was going to. But I'm always, you know me, I'm more of I've always been a glass half full guy. I'm not gonna lie. Those that really know me know that's how I am. That's how I will always be. And this was no exception. Like I said, I didn't really have much in terms of expectations for this because of everything I'd been hearing. Like, oh, it's going to be the Vince McMahon, Bruce Pritchard, Kevin Dunn show and that kind of thing. And I mean, it wasn't like the greatest thing I'd ever seen. I mean, that's still probably the All Out pay-per-view in terms of probably best wrestling show I've ever seen. But I liked it. I liked the way the arena was set up because to me it had that studio show vibe. Like it had a WCW at Disney MGM vibe. It had it. Now, while not as intimate as say like the NWA Power, it had that feel. It felt like there were more people there versus the way they have the people seated for at the old the Capitol Wrestling Center. You could actually see the fans. And I know you guys said there wasn't a barricade. There wasn't like an actual traditional barricade, but there was like I believe some sort of like plexiglass or like the plastic like liner or something like that. Again,
I want some steel to get thrown into. Come on, man.
Oh, I mean, it's the first episode. It's kind of like, a pilot episode. You run it out there. You see what, what works, what doesn't. They could easily make tweaks here and there. I like the introduction of some of the new people they brought in just because of the fact, again, this is NXT 2.0. This is the new NXT. You had, like you mentioned, Braun Breaker, which is one of the things I did not like because I much like you guys, I hate that name as well too. Why that one just it felt like I think it wasn't even a week ago he was given the name Rex Steiner, which I thought that was perfect. That would have
100%.
Yeah,
100%. I would have been totally on board. I loved it.
Why cut who he is? That makes no sense. His family did a lot in the wrestling community.
Well, I think it has something to do with I don't think the Steiners left back in was it 94 on good terms with Vince, and then Scott had his run in 2002, 2003, 2004, and I know he hasn't really had a lot of nice things to say about the McMahon family as well too. So I'm assuming that has something to do with it. Shout out to Vic Joseph for getting a Dogface Gremlin reference in there. I love that.
You probably got yelled at for it too.
Yeah, I told you not to say who he is.
You know what though? I mean, I think the majority of like the wrestling fan base that the WWE caters to probably don't even know who the Steiner brothers are, which is a tragedy. First off,
yes,
but also too, you mentioned Jovan about Von. What I can't think of what his last name was. The guy that took over Kyle O'Reilly's spot. It escapes my mind, but I know that's Cal Bloom, who was Wayne Bloom of the Beverly Brothers. That was his son. Also, the guy that tagged with Josh Briggs is Bull Buchanan's son. So we saw a lot of second generation talents and stuff. Another thing I did not like, and I just think it's one of those cases where I think that she needs more time, is B-Fab's debut. I just thought the match was not very good. I love, and I know Javon and we've talked about this in the past. Hit Row is a really good thing going in NXT. Yes. And I just thought, I think B-Fab, I just think her and then the girl she went up against, they both need a little bit more seasoning in terms of in the ring. And again, that's what this new NXT is for. It's getting these men and women ready for the main roster.
But that's my thing, is if they're going to roll out people that are that green, have it be a show of people being green.
Agreed.
Don't have what they did is try to mix in the green people with the people who've been working for a while, put green on green, because then you're like, what am I watching? One match is good, the other match is just herds.
Right. And I think it was I don't remember if it was Bully Ray or someone on Busted Open was talking about how maybe they do how a lot of the newer greener talents like for AEW are usually on like Dark and Elevation before they get brought up to Rampage and Dynamite. Maybe it might benefit NXT to have like a little YouTube show on there or some sort of exclusive here. They have, like you said, the green talents just getting in the ring.
The network. I mean, maybe they could put something on the network. I don't know what their Peacock deal is if they can't put new stuff.
Yeah, and I don't know the legit. I mean, I think that'd be if it were the WWE network, absolutely. But I don't know what it is with Peacock and stuff. But I mean, think about it. The NXT that everybody fell in love with, that started out as a WWE network exclusive. Once they got past the game show stuff and they actually went to and that. So, and then congrats to Ciampa getting the title. I was kind of puzzled by it. I mean, I don't hate it, but I didn't exactly like it. I mean, and I'm sure you guys aren't surprised because you know how big a Kyle O'Reilly fan I am. I was none too happy that he got taken out of that match. So
they shit on the fan base because they know that people want to see O'Reilly with the belt, but they took him out of the match,
which sucks. I mean, it's so funny how, WWE / NXT and AEW are polar opposites, and AEW is putting out the product. They're giving the fans what they want, whereas it's just like WWE and NXT, they're putting out what Vince wants, and that's a big problem. And and these people, they're sitting in Titan Towers, in Stamford, Connecticut, are wondering why AEW Dynamite is now, I believe, for the second week in a row, and we're going to talk about AEW Dynamite a little bit later. They beat Raw in the key demo. I believe it's the second week in a row. So, before we move on,
I think NXT is going to be done by the end of 2022.
Oh,
Completely.
wow.
No show, no nothing. I think it's a waste of 2 hours of USA Network's time to put on green rookies from a recruiting center that don't belong on television. And there's a time where you could have said, well, it's not national television. Well, guess what? The only way you can really watch TV anymore is on cable. So the USA Network is in almost every home. It's national. So let's just call it that. I don't want to waste my time watching 2 hours of rookie talent. There's a reason that a lot of, younger trainee types that come into AEW, there's a reason they are on YouTube and they're not on Rampage or they're not on Dynamite. I just don't see it. If I want to see that, I'll go to a local indie show, somewhere. I don't want to watch NXT for that reason. I watched NXT because NXT became the collection bin, Vince McMahon's collection bin of indie talent that he didn't care about, but he didn't want anybody else having. Now you want to completely throw that away, but you keep Ciampa, who's probably, I would say, the oldest person in the building outside of Shawn Michaels and William Regal at NXT. And I'm not knocking him because I'm getting up there in age as well, but don't give me new and fresh. That's not new and fresh. We've been waiting for you make fans of Ciampa wait 2 years. It's been 2 years, right?
Since the first Goldie.
Yeah,
like 2-3 years.
Yeah, like you wait all this time, and this new big NXT. What did you think you were going to get more your loyal fans back? Oh, Ciampa's the champion again. Yeah, but then I got him going against Dirk McGee, whoever the hell, whatever, somebody that's only been wrestling for a year at the Performance Center too.
He's gonna lose that belt to Breaker.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother problem right there. As much as I like that kid, he's got a bright future. Come on, I can't get behind this. That's insane that they want to put on green talent that shouldn't be on a national TV spot. I don't get it. That's not the place for it. So, and I don't think USA is going to be very happy with it. In turn, NBC Universal, who owns USA. So, I don't think they're going to be too thrilled about that. No. So you're wasting, 2 hours Tuesday night for that. Come on.
Yeah.
And before we move on, I just want to give my take on the wedding. I absolutely loved it. I thought everybody involved, was just top notch. Of course, you had Indy and Dexter, and yes, Devon. I legit popped when he actually said, and even the announcers and the audience popped for that.
Yes.
I did.
I thought Johnny Gargano was hilarious.
Who hurt you, Joe?
NXT, Vince McMahon.
Yeah, Johnny Gargano, Candice LeRae, everybody. The guests at the wedding were all great. You had who I believe was that Andre Chase or whatever like that started talking or something, and then he gets taken out by Big Man Odyssey Jones. It's just I just thought it was so much fun, and you know what? And Joey's probably gonna want to rig through his webcam and throttle me when I say this,
probably.
But I'm gonna go on record and say that was the most entertaining wrestling wedding I have ever seen.
I got other stuff to do if we're gonna talk nonsense and childish things. This is ridiculous. Are you serious?
Macho Man and Elizabeth main evented a pay-per-view, right?
I said entertaining. That the Savage
co-main evented. Thank you.
Oh, was co-main evented.
Let me talk, guys.
Sorry, go ahead. You talk, and then I'm gonna scream at you. Go for it.
wouldn't be any different than other people I interact with. But anyways, but no, I honestly was so very thoroughly entertained by this wedding, and yes, I am I saying this is the greatest wedding ever? No, that still is Randy and Liz, but I love that for a different reason. It's basically saying, okay, Revenge of the Nerds is one of my favorite movies is like my favorite comedy of all time. I thoroughly was entertained by it. But then there's, and I'm just throwing this out there. It's not my favorite movie, but I know some people out there it is, and it's one of my wife's favorite movies, but Titanic. The Titanic, just what, man, just, I'm gonna keep going. You guys are encouraging me to keep going. You know what? I can play a heel, probably better than some people out there like to say they can play a heel. Anyways, Revenge of the Nerds and Titanic are both good movies in my mind, but for different reasons. And that's the same thing with these two weddings. So that's all I'm gonna say about that, because I don't want to give Joey a heart attack here. So
I've been thinking that you said you were thoroughly entertained, which A, as your friend, I'm insulted by that already. But B is then you go on to compare it to other wrestling weddings that were hot garbage as well. There has never been a good wedding angle in professional wrestling. There never will be a good wedding angle in professional wrestling.
We've got other things to shoot on. Hold on, what?
We may have to do a special bonus episode on just wrestling weddings.
I am going to record a one-man show that is me just ranting for 45 minutes about how terrible it is to watch a wedding in a professional wrestling ring. And the Randy Savage Elizabeth wedding was garbage. It was garbage then. It is garbage now. Rest in peace, both. But it was still garbage. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't get behind it.
Speaking of garbage, how'd your Philadelphia Eagles do?
So it's it's 2-on-1 tonight. I got you. All right, it's 2-on-1. The Cowgirls finally won one. Okay, and then
we get all angry.
And the old double doink Bears pull out a W. Get out of here. Okay.
Yeah, we almost blew that one. And
Well, we know how it goes against Philly in the playoffs in Chicago. Don't we?
I have no, I can't counter that. They blew it. All right. Let's get back on track. Although I really like the dialogue here. Definitely, this was way more divisive and controversial than I thought this was.
Oh,
but you know what?
Supposed to be the hard question.
Yeah, this was this is what this show is all about. So let's see here. All right. So also a little over a week ago, as of when this drops, we had a new WWE champion crowned in Big E when he cashed in his Money in the Bank and beat Bobby Lashley, and got a lot of just the kudos and everything coming in from all over the wrestling world. Just goes to speak about how well loved and respected Big E currently is in this landscape. But it got me thinking, gentlemen. Top 3 favorite world title wins. So, world title wins can sometimes be a magical moment, or sometimes they can be the exact opposite. And I'm going to actually take the lead on this one first, so this way gives you guys a little bit of time to think about your 3 favorite. You can list them in, from 3 to 1, no particular order, whatever. For me, I'm going to go. I've got my 3 here. I'm going to start out with Daniel Bryan winning the WWE World Heavyweight title at the end of WrestleMania 30. That's my number 3. I mean, just first off, this wasn't supposed to happen. This kind of was an indirect result, or whatever the consequence. That's what I was looking for the CM Punk departure a couple months prior after the Royal Rumble 2014. The fans were clearly behind Daniel Bryan. They willed him into this match. I mean, hell, we had Occupy Raw and everything, and they forced, the fans forced Vince's hand here. They had to give Daniel Bryan his moment. Now, what they did with him afterwards, that was garbage. Number 2, and this is one that I personally saw myself happen, and that was Cody Rhodes winning the NWA title against Nick Aldis at All In. Just because I was a huge Cody fan. Cody was one of the reasons why All In happened, and I have no shame in admitting this. I cried at Dirt when he won because it was just such a surreal moment because you knew he did that for his father. He did that for the I mean, it was just a surreal moment to be a part of and be a part of that crowd when it happened. It was unreal. And my number 1 favorite world title win, and this is something that I don't think a lot of people, especially newer fans, may understand how significant this was. And that was Ron Simmons winning the WCW championship against Big Van Vader in Baltimore back in August of '92. The one thing that will always stick in my mind when I watch that video over and over again, because I could watch that 100 times and give it a thumbs up 100 times. I don't know if you guys ever saw the video of when he won the title, but when he hit Vader with the power slam and the ref started counting, you saw that African-American fan literally run to the rail. And as the ref counted 1, 2, literally was jumping all over the place. Like he looked like he could have hurdled that barricade. And, if he probably would have ran to the ring and gave Ron a hug and everything and stuff but it was just such a significant moment in the world of professional wrestling, because here we are. We just saw the very first African-American man to win a major world heavyweight championship. And it was such a good moment. I love Ron Simmons. Ron Simmons is one of my favorite guys. I don't think he gets a lot of love in the world of pro wrestling, but it's just his win. It's so surreal, and it's just so significant for the reasons I just listed. So that's my 3. Number 3 was Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30. Number 2 was Cody Rhodes at All In, and then number 1 was Ron Simmons in Baltimore in August of '92. Jay, what do you got?
Man, I love the Cody Rhodes moment. That's a hell of a moment. All right. World title, it has to be the main title for the company, yes?
Yes.
All right. Let's do Chris Jericho winning both titles to become the first undisputed champion.
I like that.
I am a big Jericho mark. Going into that night, I remember watching it live. I had friends who were like, it's going to be Austin. They'll be dumb. That's the, face of the company, 316. I was a big Rock fan. So a part of me was like, shit, maybe The Rock could take it from him. But Jericho actually came out on top. And then to hear later on the stories of, how he found out he was going to win blows my mind. Like, they didn't even really have it set up. They're just like, oh, we're in trouble. We're about to put the belt on Jericho. So that's my 3rd. Would be Jericho winning the Undisputed Championship. 2nd for me is going to be another one that the crowd willed into existence. I like how DJ said that for Daniel Bryan. I think this title win actually happened because of the fans as well. And we're running wild with Kofi Mania.
Ooh, I love that one. Great
Kofi
call.
Mania, man, number 2. We know he got in there due to the Mustafa Ali injury. Had a showing of a lifetime in the Elimination Chamber. Went on to Mania and just talk about being in the right spot, the right time, catching lightning, and to finally win it. That, to me, with all of his years of service, everything Kofi had done, was a truly you deserved it moment.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1. This is going to be a little hard for me to really place a 1. Because honestly, for me, my number 1, and I'm going to break the rules, my number 1 is not a world title win.
Okay.
My number 1 is a TNT championship win.
Ooh.
My number 1 goes to Brody Lee defeating Cody Rhodes. To me, at that time, the TNT championship was so prestigious in the company, and it still is.
I was just going to say it still is.
It still is, the prestige of both belts in AEW right now. They mean something. They're not watered down. There's not billions of holders. But for people who know Brody Lee, people who followed his career in the WWE, you know, he finally got his chance to go solo, Intercontinental Champion, and you're like, wow, Brody could work. Brody can do this. Thrown back in with the Bludgeon Brothers, tag team champions, you know, kind of pigeonholed into a tag team specialist. But then to see this character in AEW, Mr. Brody Lee, completely redefined who he was, actually spoke the way he really speaks, which is eloquently. The man was a mastermind at wrestling. And then the biggest thing is, you know, you see everybody talking about Brody. When he won, you had wrestlers from all around the world of wrestling congratulating Brody. WWE, people from the independents, you know, CCW guys that he used to work with. Everybody loved Brody. Brody Lee's my number one.
All right. Well, for those of you who don't know, apparently Javon isn't alone in his room right now. So he's got his mic muted because somebody's making a lot of noise in there, and for once it's not Jovan. But so Joey, what do you got?
You guys had some really, really, really great picks. You know, as I was kicking around this question, Kofi was definitely up on my list. Ron Simmons was a great one. But I'm going to give you three, no particular order. I'm not ranking them. Because my opinion could change tomorrow, and these three might not even be in the top three. So, but as of tonight, right now, I will say I cannot deny putting Daniel Bryan's title win at WrestleMania 30 on the list, because it was one of those lightning in a bottle. The WWE was able to capitalize on a real, true underdog type storyline and made it really believable. And the other thing I think is lost a lot of the times when you're talking about, because you almost talk about them in two separate entities, is WrestleMania 30 had two major things. Obviously, Daniel Bryan winning the title. The other thing was the Undertaker's streak coming to an end with Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
And that match happened prior to the title match which went on last. Now going into that pay-per-view, obviously, you know, the Undertaker's probably going to win. The streak's going to stay on. And you're thinking in your head, Daniel Bryan's going to win, because there's no way they're building all the way to WrestleMania in this story. They did the Raw takeover. They did all these great things, this fan movement. But when Brock pinned the Undertaker, that completely changed everything for the rest of the card. Because at that point, you're like, well, if Brock Lesnar just broke the streak, Daniel Bryan might not win tonight. They might screw everyone and put the title on Batista or Randy Orton, you know, one of the two. And it had that real thought. So when he did win, it was that I knew it, but I kind of didn't, because they really swerved me early in the show. So that was a big one. That's why it's on my list. Number two, I know we are in the current 2021 Summer of Punk, but if I can go back to 2011 in WWE. So that was a time with the pipe bomb promo and Punk becoming the underground anti-hero of WWE 2011.
The voice of the voiceless.
The voice of the voiceless is born. And you have this great story. And when it's that one man against the company, it's always good. But the problem is you have to have the right guy to be in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold was the right guy to be in that spot.
Yep.
CM Punk was 100% the right guy to be in that spot. So when Punk wins the title at Money in the Bank in Chicago, and, you know, Lord help him, I'm glad they wrote it that way, because that they would have burned the building to the ground. So, you know, like when he wins, you really have this sense of, whoa, his contract's up. Is he really going to go defend the title in New Japan, or is he going to go back to Ring of Honor like he said in the pipe bomb promo? You got that vibe of like, where are we going with this? It got you really interested, and it really kind of brought it mainstream. So that's a big one for me. And then last but certainly not least on my list of three in no particular order, I've had some debate. I had some tossing around with it. But you know what? I'm going to change it up anyway. I'm going to go Kofi because to me that was long overdue, and again, it's the underdog storyline where they build it so perfect. And I can't take away from that. As much as I was thinking I had a couple other options, I'll keep in my back pocket for later. But, Kofi winning, again, they built the underdog story. They had him, it was just perfect. It was perfect the way it was done. He wins the title, and he wins it at WrestleMania. It's such a huge moment, so it's cool. And like, side note, I love that Big E is the champ. I do feel it was about the ratings and it's about, a lot of behind the scenes there. But, I would just wish it were on a pay-per-view. I wish he would have Big E would have got the WrestleMania
There's
moment.
Something special though, bro, about winning the title on Monday Night Raw. The same way that they kind of did it with Mankind. They teased
That's
it
actually
before the show.
So you just said that Mankind in 99 was my top one, but as I'm sitting here kind of kicking in my head, I switched gears and went back to Kofi. But Mankind was my actual, my third choice. That was going to be my pick because that was such a big one to me as well, too. Because, of course, the biggest thing of that was the shift in the Monday Night War. Mm-hmm. And that's where, the infamous, I guess that'll put butts in seats, when they spoiled Mankind winning the title. And everybody changed channel to actually still watch it. So that was a big moment to make modern pro wrestling what it is.
You think they redid it to try to capture that again for Big E?
I think they're trying to capture. AEW is such a different product. Just being real, like it really is, and it's over the past few weeks, especially, it's really occurred to me of how different the product is, and that's how I'm viewing it. I just think you hit the panic button, and you're throwing out anything. Yeah. Well, you got Big E, who everybody loves, carrying around the briefcase, cashing in. Let's go. Let's put the title on Big E. Kind of gives you a little bit of a reset on Raw, and now here we are. We're gonna have the New Day versus Roman and the Usos. Like, I mean, we're getting. I saw a meme about it. We're getting Survivor Series in September. Like, this is
winner take all for all the titles.
It's crazy. Don't even get that started. But yeah, I think it's a ratings grab, to be honest.
So yeah, there are plenty more that like we could have easily talked about. Joe, you one of yours was one that I cut out, and that was Punk winning at Money in the Bank, and then also you mentioned Mankind winning at The Rock. That's another one that I kind of had kicked around and stuff. But during your very intelligent analysis and your take on this, you alluded to someone who we're going to discuss next here. So here we go. Babyface Brock Lesnar, yay or nay? Pretty much simple. Obviously, right now, Brock Lesnar is a babyface. It's not his first run as a babyface, but yeah, he's currently being booked as a babyface right now in this upcoming match here with Roman Reigns, which they're not saving till WrestleMania next year. They're not saving till WrestleMania back in where are they at? Oh, they're in LA in 2023. I know they're in Javon's neck of the woods next year and stuff in 2022. They decided to put this match on for the Prince of Saudi Arabia for Crown Jewel. So yeah, it's clearly all about the money there and stuff. But gentlemen, babyface Brock Lesnar, I mean, what do you think about the way he's being portrayed right now? And is he, I mean, babyface, simple question, yay or nay? You know what, Jay, let's lead off with you on this one.
Nay, nothing sounds more just wrong than babyface Brock Lesnar.
That's it? That's all you got to say?
Oh, I thought we were just doing simple yay or nays.
But, well, I'm sure you probably...
Well, you can expand on this point a little bit because I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
So, absolutely not. The only time I want to see a face Brock Lesnar is the hip-hop Lesnar we got with the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Oh, my.
That's the only way he works as a face. Just extremely goofy. Just what the hell is he doing with our truth, Brock Lesnar? That's the only way. Now, in any other way you try to make him out as the face, it's not going to work because we all know Brock Lesnar, A, hates people, B, hates people, and C, hates people. Now, we also know that he may or may not expose himself to ladies. So, is that really a face move? Not really a face move. And he kind of looks like an onion and makes me want to cry. So there's no way to make Brock Lesnar face.
Speaking of memes we talked about earlier, did you see the meme going around about Brock Lesnar with the kid from Home Improvement when he had his hair done the same way? So
This is him now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joey, what do you got?
I'm going to disagree. I'm going to say yay. However, I don't want silly, goofy face, and I don't want long-term face Brock Lesnar. I want babyface Brock Lesnar to take on the biggest heel the WWE's had in probably the last 10 years. I mean, I think I've said this already. I love the Tribal Chief storyline. I love everything they've done with it so far. I love that Roman is having the best heel run of his entire career right now. And I think, honestly, the work that he's doing right now will probably be appreciated years down the line. But
how do you make Brock face? I don't know.
Easy. It's real easy. I mean, I look at it like this. I think he's a face because Roman's the bigger heel. That's how you make him a face. He's not going to be a permanent face because, there's no way to have somebody the size, the look, and the history of Brock Lesnar when you go, oh, well, he's taking somebody to Suplex City, and just dumping people on their heads. No, you're going to get anti-hero that the Tribal Chief is worse than anybody else. And there's only one person that can stop him. So you have to trust the devil here and that Brock Lesnar is going to be the one to bring him down. And that's what makes him babyface. So I don't like it in long term. I like it in short term, and I like it with the storyline. I do not like it going on this Super Show. Basically, just a money grab for everybody on that. This is your WrestleMania main event. If you really want to have Brock and Roman main event WrestleMania one more time for the title, this would be the most compelling way to do it, where you have Roman Reigns as the most dominant heel champion in the entire WWE going against the only person that can stop him, and that's Brock Lesnar. And it's a wasted opportunity, but I like it. I like it in the short term, and I hope it stays that way. We'll see what happens, though.
Yeah, I actually really liked Joey's take there, and I'm going to actually double down on it. For the short term, yes. I mean, for what they're doing with him now, with what, is going on with Roman and everything, absolutely love it. But like you also said, do I want to see it long term? No, because I think overall Brock Lesnar is much better as the badass heel who can really go through it. The badass heel who ended the Undertaker streak, dominated John Cena, gave him 16 German suplexes at SummerSlam. I mean, that's the Brock Lesnar that I think best for business. But right now, absolutely. And I, also too, with the whole, this match main eventing crown jewel or whatever they're calling this, Saudi Arabia Super Show, whatever, and, I get it. Yeah, it's a money grab and stuff. But it's just, to me, they're blowing their load so early, because really right now, is there any other match that can main event WrestleMania in Dallas and sell out, and bring in over 100,000 people? Right now, I say no, there's not. And
The Rock and Roman.
But I mean, do you think they would be able to find a way to pull it off to where it makes sense to have it again at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's something.
I don't think The Rock's working outside of me.
The original Tribal Chief, man. He's the original flag bearer for the family.
I'm saying okay. So Brock versus Roman. Okay, I see.
Yeah, no.
I thought we were still talking about Brock and Roman again.
No,
I agree. Johnson. I mean, maybe that's what they are leaning towards with this. If they're not going to go, with, Brock versus Roman at WrestleMania. So we've talked a little bit about our favorite world title wins. We've given our take on NXT 2.0. We just talked a little bit about Rock. Let's go into one that I think could be a little fun here.
Who is the number 2 heel right now?
So we talk about, and when I say heel, who's like, someone that the fans just do not like. Obviously, I think we're all in agreement that MJF is number 1 right now, and it's not even close. But when you have a number 1, you always got to have a number 2. And I'm actually I'm gonna lead this one off because I think I've got something that a little bit of a maybe unconventional, whatever, but I think you guys will understand why once I explain why. For me, I think the number 2 heel in wrestling right now is Dan Lambert. That guy, it probably is the only heel right now that is eliciting any kind of reaction that's close to what MJF has been getting. And he has been cutting some pretty scathing promos on the AEW fan base. I mean, he's basically hitting close to home with all his barbs and stuff. And it's just getting just tremendous amounts of heat. And he's been known to do this before because he was really good at drawing heat, I believe, when he was with Bobby Lashley in Impact Wrestling. And Dan Lambert is a wrestling fan. So Dan Lambert respects the business, so he knows what he's brought in to do. Dan Lambert is the kind of guy that people are going to want to pay money to see get his ass kicked. Me being myself, like, I watch him cut these promos, like, man, I really want to see someone get his ass kicked. I mean, the pop that Lance Archer got when he dropped Lambert with his one move, the Black Mass or whatever. I can't think of what it's called, and stuff. But I mean, obviously, he's got the people just wanting to see him get his ass kicked, and I just think there's not really a lot of other people other than MJF that are really doing it week in and week out like Dan Lambert. So yeah, Dan Lambert's my pick right now for the number 2 heel in the business. Joey, what do you got?
I mean, if this question would have been who's the number 2 heel on the microphone right now, yeah, Dan Lambert for sure, because I agree with everything he said there. But Lambert's not a wrestler, and he's might be there to take a bump or two, but that's about it. So when I look at it, yeah, MJF is number 1 because a mix from the mic to his in-ring ability. And I mean, he really works. I mean, when's the last time we saw somebody that good at just healing the entire match? And I'm talking from the crowd interactions, the expressions, just the little winks and nods. You know, if you're calling the match in the ring, making certain things audible before you go back to calling it, so the crowd hears certain things, the crowd hears the trash talk, but they don't hear, calling the match. I mean, I think that's huge. I love that. But if we're going to talk, we got to talk wrestlers. And the number 2, I'm just going to piggyback right off our last topic. Roman's the number 2 heel in wrestling right now. Right. There's a number of reasons. He is underappreciated for his in-ring work. The guy sells. He's not the prototype of that Super Cena, babyface. Roman was never that guy though. Roman, was put in a spot to be the biggest draw as a babyface in the company, but his in-ring work was phenomenal, and I think it was well beyond a lot of other talent. And he's gotten a lot better too. Like, that's the thing. He works at a great rate. Now, what I love most of this heel run, though, is he's changed his in-ring style, which is number 1. Any good heel, when you go from babyface to heel, will change their in-ring style. A lot of modern wrestling doesn't have that anymore. You see the same guys, heel or babyface, are doing the same movesets. And I think when that old school mentality of you distinguish character from character and you change your in-ring work, you change your style, you change your entrance walk, you change everything, your look, your appearance, various things. I know Jericho, every time he left and came back, he had a different style. Punk's another guy who does it. Every time he changed characters, he would change his hair, facial hair, whatever it might be, something to distinguish it. And Roman's done that. It does help that they've finally put him in a great storyline. I love that, but I just think as far as a heel, like a true heel, Roman's put the work in. He's number 2.
All right. Jay, what do you got?
Do I want to go heel? Do I want to take my chance on the wild side, on the heel side right now? I think I do.
Just make sure you do a better job than some certain other people who like to try to play heel out there in Facebook land.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you this right now. And prepare to hold yourself, because this is going to be the sharpest shot I take tonight. The biggest heel behind MJF in all of wrestling is you. The internet wrestling community.
Wow.
You all are the biggest heels ever. And you hide behind the guise of, well, I can say what I want because it's on the internet. We started this show off talking about self-help, making sure you go out there and you get help if you need it. We've seen wrestling fans bully wrestlers to the point of them not being here anymore.
Yep.
Strike one for you being the biggest heels out there. You've seen wrestling fans be inappropriate with wrestlers. Strike two on you being the biggest heel out there. And I'm going to finish up with this nice tidbit. If something is said that you do not like and it does not fit your narrative, you go way above and beyond your means to make sure that those people are no longer heard of. They can't support their families. They can't get booked. Yes, I'm talking to everybody who has made sure it's their life mission that Marty Scurll is never going to wrestle again. I love the villain. Whoop, whoop. Biggest heel, the Hot One, Jay Manacho, and the internet wrestling community.
Okay. Wow. That was really, really good. Definitely kind of makes you think a little bit there. And that's what we like to do. We like to make people think. And guys, don't forget, if you guys got a question for us or something you want to see us debate on here, please, you know how to reach out to us. If this is your first time listening to the show, first off, welcome. Otherwise, and then we'll give you our socials here at the end of the show so you can reach out to us. And because we want to do stuff that you guys want to see us talk about. We want to talk about what you guys want to hear. So got a couple more topics here. We talked about AEW a lot here, and they're getting ready to go into arguably the biggest week in their company's history. And it's time to play a little bit of speculation here.
Dynamite Grand Slam rating.
So obviously AEW Dynamite's gonna be big this week. It's gonna be headlined by a dream match, that being Bryan Danielson going up against the AEW World Heavyweight Champion Kenny Omega in a match.
Calm down there, Jim Ross.
At least I didn't use Jungle. Well, I was gonna say do the Jungle Boy Jack thing, but I've kind of gotten used to that now. So, but yeah, I mean. And we also mentioned about how AEW Dynamite's the last couple of weeks has beaten Raw in the key demographic, which is the 18 to 49 audience. So guys, not going to ask for like a specific number or anything like that, but what do you think is going to happen with this Dynamite rating? I mean, are we going to see, them come close to what Raw does? Are we going to possibly see AEW establish a new record in terms of total viewership for Dynamite? Or is it going to totally flop and they're going to go under 1 million? Guys, Jay, let's you lead off with this one.
There is no way that this grand spectacle at the Arthur Ashe Stadium that is sold out over 15K seats is going to end up under 1 million. There's no way. Now, the question is, does it hit 2? Do we get close to what Raw pulls in? That's tough to say, man. I don't think that AEW has the steam yet. We are getting there, but I think as of right now, it is going to be their highest rated Dynamite that's been watched, but I don't think they hit that 2.
Yeah, I'm gonna double down on that. I don't, obviously they're not going under 1 million. I don't see them going under 1 million for a while now because they're really riding that wave of momentum. Everybody's talking about them. AEW's clearly establishing itself as the place to be. I definitely think they're going to eclipse their the mark that was set at the very first episode of Dynamite. I mean, I could see 1.5, 1.6, maybe 1.7. I don't think they're going to get to 2, although it wouldn't surprise me if they did. And if they get to 2, they definitely have a shot at beating Raw overall. But I don't see, like you said, Jovan, they're not there yet. They're on their way there, but they're not there yet. Now, could they be could they possibly beat Raw in the key demo? Absolutely, because they've already proven it the last couple of weeks they could do that.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm thinking they're going to set it, like you said, they're going to set a record for their show. They're going to beat Raw in the key demographic. I'm in that. So, but I don't think they're going to beat Raw or get to 2 million. Joey, what do you got?
I'll be shocked if they get to 1.6. I really would be. I think somewhere 1.3, 1.4 is where it's going to settle. I don't see it really going higher than that. And it's because there are some missing factors here. Brian Danielson making his AEW in-ring debut. That's a huge get. However, how many casual wrestling fans still realize that Bryan Danielson, who they know as Daniel Bryan, is wrestling on Wednesday night in AEW? If it were WWE, it would be just bigger news because, as you all know, and it's been this way for years, when people talk pro wrestling, people talk WWE, the same way as back in years past. Oh, you watch WWF. It's the Kleenex analogy. You don't grab a tissue, you grab a Kleenex. Mm-hmm. So we still have that problem to solve, and that's changing ever so slowly, but it's not happening yet. So I don't see them having that huge rating. Do I see the key demographic stuff? Yes. And that is important because, I mean, it's been proven time and time again that the average WWE fan in general is aging. Their biggest age groups are well beyond that 18 to 49, that is ever so coveted. But they're just not there yet. This show will help propel it. And I think this show is going to be more of the catalyst for what's to come. And side note, I really actually like that they don't have Punk's TV debut on the same show. I like that they're saving that for Rampage and they're planning on having Punk live to hype it up. But if they would have done that, I think a little bit more higher in the rating, but it would have been more fuel to those people who are very loyal going, see, you can have Bryan Danielson and CM Punk and Adam Cole all in the same show, and they're still not beating Raw. And I don't think AEW is, I think AEW is smart enough to realize that, going, we're probably not going to win the overall number. So why throw everything against it? Because now we're just going to be, people are going to say, see, told you so, told you so. So I think it's a smart business decision. But yeah, I can see 1.4 easily with this show. And honestly, I would be thrilled to be shocked by a higher number than that. I would be, because I think it's going to be a great show overall.
It's a pay-per-view show for free.
Exactly.
Both shows are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, yeah, the entire New York run this week they're pay-per-view worthy. I mean, this is All Out 2.0 to me. That's how I view this week. I mean, in all honesty.
So this is our 4th official episode, and I want to say that Joey, your thing there when you talked about how this is going to be the catalyst, it's probably my favorite take you've had in these 4 episodes we've done. So
appreciate it.
No problem. And that's so, because I mean, I really like it. That really got my attention there, because that's something I didn't even really think of. We're all thinking, are they going to beat Raw? Are they going to come close? Whatever, but it's like, this is the catalyst, like that maybe allows them to get ready to take that next step to where they can challenge Raw and that. So, But we got one more topic here, and this one is going to be, I think, really interesting. And I'm gonna play the clip, and then Joey, I want you to take the lead on this because this was something that you brought up. Because I kind of want you to take the lead here.
Why are women objectified?
Joey?
So for our audio listeners, the full question is, why are female fans and female wrestlers so objectified by the IWC? And we've kind of alluded to a lot of this all night in some of the other topics. So first I'll back up. My take on why I hate weddings, because I feel it's a very objectified look. And through history, it's been a very objectified way of putting females on television to get them a spot instead of using their actual talent and abilities in the ring, on a microphone, whatever it may be. So that's one part of it. Jay, you hit on this, and I love it because your second biggest heel in professional wrestling is the IWC, and that's 100% true. I couldn't agree more. So I'm going to hit this from a couple of different angles. Just, I'm going to sum it all up here. I'm not a fan of the IWC. There's a reason that some of us are oftentimes embarrassed to call ourselves wrestling fans because we're lumped into this category where people online anonymously can say what they want and do what they want. We've already lost professional wrestlers to suicide because of things that are caused by this. It's very, very tough. And I know Dark Side of the Ring's coming up with Canyon, that episode, and I think we're going to dive a little deeper in there. And the question might come back up and expand as that episode. But I was at Death Before Dishonor last week, Ring of Honor, awesome show, great pay-per-view. And as usual, we were ringside having a great time. We happened to be upon the same seats as some of the famous or infamous Honor Club girls. Great group of ladies, huge Ring of Honor fans. And we happened to have a little conversation, things about the show, things that we might want to address. And this topic came up, and I had two experiences with this. Number one, I had a great conversation with one of these ladies, and she is just a true fan. She's an absolute fan of professional wrestling. She has her favorite wrestlers. She has her favorite stories. She's an honest fan. She gets questioned by not just people on the internet, not just fans in attendance, but by actual wrestlers on the card. Oh, who are you here with? Who are you sleeping with in the back? These types of things. And, I want to say it's shocking to hear that stuff, but the more I kind of sat on it, it's not. It's not shocking at all. I watched an amazing Ring of Honor women's title match, the culmination of their women's tournament to crown a new champion, to rename with a brand new belt, an entire new division for them. And I watched two young women just tear the house down. They had a fantastic match. Roxy, the new champ, congrats to her. She was amazing. She's young. She is super talented. And her opponent, Miranda, who was really, really great. Now, where we were sitting, right next to us for this match were Miranda's mom and aunt. So they were there in the reserve seating, but they were ringside. And it really hit me that as I looked across the crowd, there's a lot of, oh, hey, look at her. Oh, look at this one. She's hot. She's this and that. A lot of objectifying that instead of actually watching the match and watching the story and being into it. And there was a part of me that was kind of embarrassed because, I don't want to be lumped into that category of fans. I'm into the match. I'm watching the match, and I'm standing there with this girl's family, especially female members of her family. And how do they feel knowing that their daughter is being objectified, not because of how hard she works in the ring, not because of how great she is on the microphone, not because of every detail she put into that match, but because she does a lot of squats in the gym and she looks really, really, really great in whatever outfit she's wearing. I mean, come on. We are better than that as fans. Now, to the fan point, I've seen it online. There's people that go, "Oh, you don't." There's this self entitlement that happens. This person also shared this story with me, and I was actually kind of involved because I responded to a comment on Twitter. She shared a message that she got. This person, a male fan, messaged her. She doesn't know said male fan. She doesn't know him personally, never met him, has no idea. So she doesn't respond. And then the verbal attack starts that she's stuck up and some really derogatory things because she only responds to her honor club girls and things like that. Well, I've met this person at a few shows, and I can tell you this. She wasn't stuck up. She's just there to be a fan. And I met her because our seats were next to each other. So, I can see how into actually the matches she is or the show itself. And it's the furthest thing from the truth. But where do these fans, supposed fans, have entitlement, not just like to the wrestlers, like, oh, they should respond to me, they should do this, but also the fans. Mm-hmm. Females can be fans of anything they want.
Absolutely.
I have a daughter. She's 10. She can do whatever she wants. But you think I don't have the conversation with her that, hey, honey, you have to work hard because you're not going to be judged the same way. You're not going to be looked at the same way. And that's a hard reality that I think a lot of dads have to have that conversation. And it's a terrible reality when even in the thing I love, the thing that, let's forget the job. Let's forget the career. Let's forget everything else. I want to sit down. I'm going to put the TV on. I'm going to watch the thing that I enjoy, that I get lost in, the show, this episodic series that goes on and on and on, and it doesn't stop. And I love the wrestlers. I love the athletes, the talent. I love everything about it. I don't want to be lumped in that because there's a handful of people out there that are just so entitled that they deserve something because it's a female. It's ridiculous. It really is. So it's never going to change, unfortunately, until something major happens. Right. That's usually the statement that comes up. But what has happened? Hana Kimura, she was bullied online and she took her own life. That's terrible. We started this show, another one, and since I'm going to keep on the side since it's female, but Daffney, who obviously was in distress, obviously had a lot going on that none of us will know about. And that's just the truth. And that's the sad part. But the comments online, people sharing the video, the live video from Instagram from that night, that's terrible. That's horrible. And how should, and we all should make other fans comfortable. You can wave your flag that you're a WWE fan, you hate AEW. You can wave your AEW flag and do the same thing to WWE, and I don't care. That's fine. That's always going to exist. But shaming a fan because of their gender, because of their sexual preference, because of anything that makes them different than you're a terrible person for doing that. And that's 100% shoot. Any female fans, any LGBTQ fans, any fans that have, and I know AEW is big on this, especially like, they have the sensory things that they do for events, which is, I think, is such a great idea.
Culture City is awesome.
Yeah, I love that. All inclusive, and fans should be all inclusive. They shouldn't look at anybody because they're different than what they are, and talk down to them. We all like the same thing. We're all watching the same thing.
Right.
Who cares where you're from? Who cares what your background is or what's going on in your personal life?
Exactly.
Be good to each other, man. There's too much terrible stuff out there in the world. There's too many terrible things that we have to deal with on a daily basis. Turn on the news for 5 minutes and you'll see so much ugly in the world. Don't bring it here. Don't bring it to the one thing that is an escape for a lot of us.
Yep. So that was really, really good. And I mean, you really, I think, nailed the essence of what this question is and stuff. And Jay, why don't you give your take on this, and I'll save mine for the end here.
Man, how do you follow that, Joey K? Jesus Christ.
Why do you think I had you go next?
I see. Collusion. But no, I mean, everything Joe said is right. Unfortunately, we've seen times where the female fans, the female wrestlers are, mistreated by either the IWC, the in-person wrestling communities, and it's not right, guys. It's really not. Joe touched on Hana Kimura, which her bullying came from wrestling and a TV show she did.
Yeah, wasn't it like a reality show or something like that?
Yeah. And people sharing Daffney's cry for help, in essence, that's sick, guys. That truly is sick. She was crying out for help. She was at the end. She knew where it was going. And, like we said earlier when we did a 10 count, our thoughts and prayers are with Daphne's family. Hopefully they do her request and, they give her brain to the CTE, experimentation so they can actually look at it and get some additional help from it.
Mm-hmm.
But Joe said he knows somebody that he met, an Honor Club girl. Guys, I mean, there's people that I know in the AEW fan base that are ladies that their opinions get shit on. And, I don't want to curse without the beeper, but the main issue that these guys have is that it's a lady. I know somebody who's a diehard Cody fan. She waves Cody's banner more than I do. And people try to tear her down on Twitter. And it makes no sense. If you look through the timeline of this person's timeline, you can see that she's been Cody Rhodes for a long time. This is nothing new. I'm talking about going back to dashing Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. But since the cool thing is to crap on and gatekeep, that's what people do. Guys, and I mean this literally, guys, we need to stop gatekeeping in the wrestling community as a whole. Doesn't matter if we're gatekeeping the ladies. It doesn't matter if we're gatekeeping other wrestling fans that aren't ladies. Stop it. I don't care if it's your first time watching wrestling. I don't care if, you like WWE, if you like New Japan, if your first ever event was going into the backyard and watching your cousin drop off of a damn trampoline into a swimming pool. Doesn't matter. At the end of the day, we all like the same thing. And that's what should be our community. Our community shouldn't be as vile as it is. It really shouldn't. And the fact that a lot of us let that happen, and not only let it, but we promote it. We promote the toxicity. Look at this person. Make them famous. Boom. Spread it out there. Spread it around so everyone can see. Guys, we've got to stop this toxicity. There's been a point where I think it's either Nyla Rose or Jordan Grace had somebody say something about their match or about them personally. And they had to reply on Twitter. It was like, dude, what makes you think that this is okay? Mm-hmm. Big Swole went off on somebody on Twitter the other day because they said something, and Swole was like, where is this okay? It's not. And that's what we're trying to say here. No, we're not holier than thou, because, yes, I'll be the first to say I go to a match, ladies match or whatever, I have my favorites, and I'm looking at one of them or two of them like, man, she's really hot. But at the end of the day, she can also go.
Yep.
Don't mix the beauty with the ability, guys. Really, just being that pig in the crowd is just like, oh, she's hot. Look at her, legs or whatever the hell. It's guys, these are performers. They're doing a craft that they learned equally to what the men have learned. This takes years. This is not ballet. This is not dancing. This is professional wrestling. And there's a lot of things that go into becoming a professional wrestler that a lot of us will never know. And we're not going to pay the dues that they had to. So we have no right to make any comments on any women that wrestle, any women that are fans, because I guarantee you, out of all of us out there, everyone's been looked down on for being a wrestling fan.
Yep.
But we should not look down on others who are in our same fan base just because they're a different gender. Do better. That's why you guys are the number one heel.
Right. That's great takes on that. When Joey messaged in our chat, that we have for the show, brought up this topic. It kind of had me thinking. The first thing I thought of is the old proverbial the female going to the comic book store scenario. Like, I don't know if you guys both watch Big Bang Theory or not, but like one of the first episodes where I can't remember what season it was, but like I think Penny went with the guys to the comic book store because she wanted to get something for like her cousin or something like that. And like she walked in the door and literally every guy just stopped and gawked at her. And it's just I almost feel like wrestling fans kind of fall in that same, scenario. Like we see a female wrestling fan, we're just all kind of like, we just sit there and stare and go. And for those of you who are listening to this on audio, I just kind of had the face, my eyes bulging out, my mouth, my jaw dropped wide open, that kind of thing. And I liked how you talked about your conversation that you had with the Honor Club girl. I know one of the Honor Club girls, I believe, and I don't know if this is the one you're referring to or not. I don't want to put any names out there, but I know there was one of the girls who I know is an Honor Club girl. I believe, wasn't she responsible for finding that lost tape of that Bret Hart versus Tom McGee match?
I think so.
Yeah, because like I remember them doing a documentary on the network and stuff, and seeing her, just like, I know her. I've seen her at the the shows and stuff like that. And that's just, and I mean, people, like you mentioned about how guys are gatekeeping the women and families. But think about it. One of the one of the biggest holy grail matches out there was unearthed by a female wrestling fan.
Exactly.
You talked about your conversation with the Honor Club girl. I want to talk about my conversation I had with a very young female fan at the Busted Open party. I know, Joey, you listen to the show. I don't know if you listen to it, Jovan, but there's a girl that calls in there usually once a week. She would call always after the day after NXT, and she goes to the shows with her parents. I think you guys know who I'm talking about. Her name's Izzy. I believe she's either a freshman or sophomore in high school, but you listen to her talk to, Dave and, Bully Ray or whoever else is on the show. She knows her stuff, and she's only like 14, 15 years old. Like, I remember meeting her at the party because she was there with her parents. I went over and I said, I recognized her from, being at the NXT shows. And I'm just like, hey, I see you on Twitter, and everything. And I just want to say, for someone as young as you are, I really, respect and, appreciate all the knowledge that you have as a wrestling fan. Because I even said to her, I was like, I wish I knew as much about wrestling when I was your age that
Time out. Ladies and gentlemen, that is coming from somebody who got called the best wrestling trivia guy by Mark Freakin Henry. So if this man doesn't gatekeep, what gives you the right? Go ahead, DDJ. Sorry.
No, I love that. Thank you very much. And thank you for that little cheap plug. Yeah. And stuff. But I mean, it just astounded me. Like and the thing was, she didn't look thumb her nose down at me. She smiled and she's like, thank you so much. I really appreciate hearing that. Like, Izzy is like an amazing wrestling fan. And I don't even look at her as like, oh my God, she's a girl that likes wrestling. She is a wrestling fan. The Honor Club girls, they are wrestling fans. I know who you're talking about, Jay, with the the Cody fan. I mean, she is.
Hey, real quick side note on her. Follow her on Twitter. She is one of the most positive people to follow on Twitter, just in life in general.
Yeah.
So to go to the extent of the gatekeeping because she's a Cody fan, and you assume that she's a Cody fan because she's female, is such a ridiculous assessment. I mean, know what you're talking about.
People for her.
What's that?
I have threatened to beat down people for her. I was like, if anybody gives you issues at these shows, I'm laying hands.
And you should, because that's a true fan. She is more of a Cody fan than anybody else I've ever met in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Hottie. I have to give her that one. But the truth is, like, that she is such a positive person. I love following her on Twitter because of her messages she puts up and what she talks about and how dedicated of a fan she is. People should strive to be that level of fan. Get behind somebody and enjoy their work. This is the body of work. This is the art. I'm wearing Foundation, Jonathan Gresham.
Nice.
I'm a fan because I watch his full body of work and it blows me away. That's how she feels about Cody. And because she's a female fan, she gets such negativity, such criticism. It's disgusting.
So you're wearing a Foundation shirt. So am I, but I'm wearing a York Foundation shirt. And for those of you who don't know who the York Foundation are, go back to like early 90s WCW. Jay's wearing the Daniel Bryan white shirt.
Exactly. I got the shirt that goes with titles, that white shirt.
Only took you 6 weeks from Pro Wrestling Tees to get it, right?
That's right.
Man. Hey, shout out to the guys at girls at Pro Wrestling Tees, man, for working 7 days a week, crazy hours, you know, getting these orders out, trying to get caught up. I saw an update. I think Ryan posted earlier today in response to someone. I think that they're up to orders that they just started shipping out orders that were placed on September 2nd. So they're getting caught up. So
and hats off to them for still running the cell after being bombarded with Punk. Actually, I would have been like, you know what, guys, not this year.
I was honestly shocked they did.
Yeah, I was shocked too.
But going back to the subject at hand here, and it's just, you know, it's just, to me, when it comes to wrestling fans, the more the merrier. Like I said, I wish like that my wife was more into wrestling, but she's not. But that's okay. I mean, she has her favorites. Like I said, we talked about Paul White, who we got to meet a couple weeks ago, and everything, you know, and she's also a big fan of Braun Strowman / I think he's going by his real name now, Adam Scher or whatever, you know, but you know what? It's not her thing, and that's fine. But for those of those women out there who want to be, you know, wrestling fans, you know what? Let's welcome them with open arms. Let's not look at them as like, oh my God, this is a female who's a wrestling fan. Like it's kind of the same thing. And, you know, it's like I look at my best friend is African American. I don't look at him as my African American best friend. I look at him as my best friend. Like the race thing, not an issue. It's like it never comes in the equation. The same thing goes for wrestling fans. Female wrestling fans aren't female wrestling fans. They are wrestling fans like you, like myself, like the Hot One, like the Premier. And that's what we all need to treat everyone the same, because like I said, we always talk about how wrestling fans are the greatest fans in the world, but like Jay mentioned earlier with his take on the heel and stuff, they can also be the worst. And it's a shame, because we want more people to enjoy this product. We're trying to get more eyes on the pro wrestling product, and we can't accomplish that by, you know, oh my God, she's a girl, she can't like wrestling, or this person's, you know, is gay, they can't be a wrestling fan. You know what? If you're gay, if you're lesbian, if you're transgender, if you're female, if you're male, if you're white, if you're black, if you're Hispanic, if you're Asian, you can all be wrestling fans, and you shouldn't have to hide it. You shouldn't have to sugarcoat it or be undercover or discreet about it. Be open about it, because that is what makes wrestling great, because it is for everyone. It isn't just for the guys. It isn't just for the girls. It isn't just for the whites. It isn't just for the blacks. It is for everyone. And a lot of people out there need to really wake up, smell the roses, and realize that. Last thing about this, and then if you guys got anything else before we close it out, please, you know what, please feel free to say. But like to the Izzies out there, to the Honor Club girls, to the Super Cody fan, I know there's, you know, a lot of, you know, Ring of Honor fans that I know. The one friend of mine on Facebook, she goes to the shows with her son all the time, and I know she's a huge Matt Taven fan. That's
no, I
great.
don't like her already. Matt Taven, I'm joking.
All right, we're gonna. We'd like to wish the Hot One the best in his future endeavors.
It's been
we're
future
gonna put out
endeavor.
open casting calls for his replacement here in the next couple weeks, and we're not gonna do no DHO Hot One, like, you know, some people like to make fun of, you know, me when I get kicked off the show, that kind of thing. By the way, I hope his prison cell is really nice. I don't care anymore. You know what? This is we're taking shots here, and we're not holding anything back anymore. But anyway,
it only took us 4 episodes to get here.
Yeah, but you know what? Once it started, the dam has broken. It's on now. But anyways, going back to the subject at hand, man, guys, we don't we want wrestling to be taken seriously as out there. But how can it be taken seriously when the fans are trying to dictate who can be fans and who can't? Again, it harkens back to the girl walking into the comic book store. We don't want to sit there and scare them off. We want to invite them in. We want to make them feel welcome. We don't want to look at them as like, oh, you're a girl and you read comic books. It's like, hey, you're into, the Spider-Man here. Here's a really cool Spider-Man issue you should look into, and that kind of thing. Like we should be helping each other grow as fans. Like I said, or the Honor Club girls. I know they have their favorites they root for. The Cody super fan, that kind of thing. Let's take that time, instead of shooting people down, be like, oh, hey, you like this person. Well, this is who I like. And if you like, maybe you might want to give this person a look. See, let's learn from each other. Gentlemen, do you have anything else to say before we close it out here?
I just feel like we just need to do better in general. All of us. I think we are, even so, I think, we all look at this form of entertainment as special, sacred to a lot of us. It's that thing that we the escape. It's the enjoyment. Some people love going to a movie theater and watching a Martin Scorsese film. Some people love sitting down on Wednesday night and watching AEW Dynamite.
Mm-hmm.
It's no different. It is no different. Be critical of what you like and don't like about the product. Don't be critical about, oh, I don't want to watch her because she's ugly. How many times have we heard that about a lot of female wrestlers? I think that time has come for us to drop that. Look at the talent. If you don't like something, don't watch it.
Exactly.
Find something you do like. In every show, whether you watch Raw, NXT, SmackDown, Dynamite, Rampage, whatever it is, you can find something you enjoy. There's something for everybody there.
There really is.
But don't sit there and say, oh, well, she's ugly, so I don't want to watch her. Or I don't think she's talented because of her appearance. Great example, Abaddon. She comes out, looks terrifying in her makeup because that's her character.
Scares me. And I'm not saying that because
it's gorgeous. I've gone on record of saying this already.
Yeah.
Hit me up.
But I mean,
I agree with you guys. But listen, I've seen the backlash online because of the way of her appearance, and people don't like it. That's ridiculous. You're not even judging on her in-ring abilities or what she can do. Or how about this? Not even go that far. Look at her entrance, her character, what she built on her own, and where she's at. I think it's just time for a change overall. I think we need the new fans. We need the people who are just learning. And that's another thing too. This will tie in. Don't hate on people because they have no idea about the past. We don't know how long they've been a fan. Nobody's an expert overnight. People can say, oh, well, I don't like this person because of this, this, and this. And they don't know the stories from a year ago, 2 years ago, because they might not have been a fan. They might not have been involved or invested at that point. Let them find out. Let them find out and research and go back and see old matches and old stories and everything else that got them to this point. Let them find out that way. Don't hate on them because they don't know. Just be better. Overall, this community just needs to be better towards everyone. And whether it's a few or whether it's a lot, whoever's out there trolling, putting the comments up, posting videos, a lot of these sites just objectifying of constantly. One in particular, their Instagram, you see all the time. It's nothing but photos of female wrestlers and rating their rear ends and various things. And it's like, where's the wrestling updates? Where's the wrestling news? I don't see that. I don't see any news coming out of it. I just see photos. And if that's what it is, I mean, that's ridiculous. Why be here?
One of the things that I was thinking about as you were giving that just amazing closing take there was back when Jovan and I were doing the Junkyard. First few episodes, we did this little segment called The Classroom, where we would pick wrestler would be given to us, and we would pick some of our favorite matches from that person. And the main reason why we did that was to give people a chance to maybe be like, hey, if you like this person, but maybe you don't know, you're not familiar with this stuff, go back and watch this and stuff. And that's exactly why we did it. We did it to educate people. And it made me think, just you talking made me think that, like I said, if you meet a new fan or someone who's just getting in to wrestling, be like, hey, cool, who do you like so far? Like, actually, my a little bit of a story here, and this actually kind of ties into our last topic here. As you guys know, I won the suite to All Out. And one of the people that ended up coming along was my cousin. She's like my third, fourth, whatever cousin, but in her it's I just call her my cousin because it's easier that way. But it's like a distant relative and stuff. She just turned 21, and her dad is like basically like a brother to me. He and I are extremely close, and his daughter is one of the most genuinely good, sweet people that you would ever want to meet. And I mean, she was basically, my cousin raised her solo because her mom just, decided that she didn't want to be a mom, her loss, whatever. But she's just kind of getting back into wrestling and stuff. And she was a real huge CM Punk fan. So she was excited to see, CM Punk, about it. A little bit of a funny story and all that. And, we had a laugh at it and stuff. But it is what it is. But then, we took the time, me and my cousin and a few other people took the time to educate her. We were walking around the party they were doing before the show. And she saw Billy Gunn, got a picture with him. She knew who Billy Gunn was. But then she went and got a picture with Ryan Nemeth, who Dolph Ziggler's brother, part of the Wingman. But she's like, I got a picture of this guy, but I don't know who he is. And, we had a laugh, ha ha, in family laugh, that kind of thing. But then he's like, oh, yeah, that's Ryan Nemeth. He's with these guys here, and he's also Dolph Ziggler's brother in real life. She's like, oh, my gosh, I didn't know that, that kind of thing. And then the real funny story was when Lance Archer came to visit us in the suite, she said, and I don't remember who she was saying this to, she's like, who is that guy? And Lance actually heard her. And we just like, and then he ended up laughing it off, that kind of thing. And we said, hey, she's kind of getting back into things, that kind of thing. And Lance walked away, was cool about it and stuff. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's Lance Archer, blah, 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 that kind of thing. So we took that time to educate my cousin, who was just getting back into wrestling, really starting to get back into it and watching it and establishing who her favorites are and trying to find some new people in. And instead of ridiculing, it's like, oh, my God, you don't know who this is. We took the time to educate. It's like, oh, hey, this is who this is. This is what he's done in the past. And I think, like you said, it was just we as a wrestling fan community, the IWC, even the people that aren't looped into the IWC, guys like us, we just, someone's like, hey, who is this guy? Let's not ridicule him. Let's be like, hey, this is who this is. If you want to see some really good stuff, go watch him. This person wrestle. So, this person A, person B, person C, and that. So, and I just think if we all adopted that same kind of attitude, the wrestling world and the wrestling fan base would be a much better place to be. Jay, what do you got? Close us out.
This last topic, and it kind of ties into our earlier topics, man. These are things that we want to shoot on because it's something that's prevalent in the world today, guys. These are things that we see that need to be addressed, and a lot of people aren't addressing it because it's easier to be part of that mob.
Yep.
Mob mentality in the IWC is horrible. It's always about cancel culture. It's always about, if we could one up the tweet that the last person said, who could be the biggest troll. Guys, these are real people. At the end of the day, what you're not understanding is that female friend, that female fan, that female wrestler, at the end of the day, these are actual people. Okay. And I think a lot of people, they don't put that together quite well when they're online. That people that they see online, these screen names, these are actual human beings. And your words hurt. We've learned from a very young age. Words hurt. Be nice. Treat others as you want them to treat you. Don't be a little shit. But what happens? You grow up, you forget about that, and it's all about being buzzworthy. Ooh, can I slam this person for being trans? Can I tell this person they're ugly? Can I tell this person they can't wrestle for nothing? Should I tell this girl that she looks too muscular? She looks like a man. Guys, who are you to say this to these people? Because the last time I checked, nobody's perfect, and they're all doing what they love. Honestly, I don't get it. I really don't. All of us at one time or another, like I said earlier, have taken some flack about liking wrestling. To give that same back to a female fan, to gatekeep, to try to talk down, and it blows me away on why people do that. I don't have a lot of people in my family who watch wrestling, but one of the people who do is my mom. My mom was a big Von Erichs fan, and we watch Dark Side and the Von Erichs pop up, and we're seeing they're going through the Cotton Bowl and showing the title match, and my mom's like, we were there. Your grandpa took us, and
Wow.
I mean, come on.
Are you talking about when Kerry beat Rick for the belt?
When Kerry beat Rick for the belt.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And my mom being a female wrestler, she's lapsed a little bit. Yeah, she was a lot more into it when it was home based here in Dallas.
Wait. Your mom was a female wrestler?
I know, but not a female fan.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No,
you were holding out on us with that info.
No.
Yeah.
But my mom being a female wrestling fan.
I mean, I know she's laid the smackdown a few times on you, and I've heard that story before.
She's got better hands than Braun Strowman, I'll tell you that, or Adam Scherr, whatever he wants to be named. But that's the whole point. Don't judge people where they're at in their fandoms. You don't know who's watching what because of who. Because, Dennis and I have stories about our grandfathers and fathers watching wrestling with us that are special and dear to our hearts.
Yep.
You talking shit to this female fan that you see, you don't know who got her into wrestling.
Yep.
Maybe that's the one thing that she was able to take from a family member who's no longer here, and that's the connection that she still feels with them, because when they turn on wrestling, you're in that moment. You're not necessarily in the show, but you're in the moment that you had created while watching that show. So, guys, gals, wrestling community, internet, offline, people in real life, do better. And I want to really focus it on the internet wrestling community, because when you go to these live shows, it's not a lot of this gatekeeping crap. All the people there are genuinely, fans. I've seen all different kind of fans, from the handicap to LGBTQ plus to just random people who love wrestling, that they all get along. They're all talking to each other. They're all laughing. They're all, throwing up the too sweet.
Yep.
And in person, it is a wonderful thing to see.
Yep.
Because no one is going to talk shit to you in your face like they will online.
Yeah.
Just the moral of tonight and of this last question is just be kind to everybody. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what your words can do to people. And like Dennis said, it doesn't matter where they're at in their wrestling fandom. They're fans. We're fans. We're all in the same boat. There's no reason to try to diminish that. And the same thing for the women wrestlers. They have done everything and then some that the guys had to do to make it to where they're at.
Absolutely.
Because I guarantee you, they've put up with more guys trying to grab on them in meet and greets, trying to slide into those DMs, not given the opportunities because they're a girl in schools, but they still persevered and pushed forward because this is something that they love. So for real, guys, we don't know everybody's journey. We don't know everybody's path. We don't know what you've had to do to get to where you're at. Just be cool, man. Like that's the big thing. Be cool. Don't be a jerk. Don't gatekeep. Don't try to isolate the female wrestling population, because honestly, you get a big group of wrestling fans, 90% is male. Mm-hmm. Now, is that 90% male because we chase away all the other potential female fans? Possibly.
I think that's part of it.
So,
yep.
If we want the fandom to grow, I don't care if this lady likes Darby Allin because the makeup is cool. She likes wrestling. Hell yeah, get into it.
Exactly.
I don't care if this person thinks that Roman Reigns is the hottest thing since sliced bread. She's watching wrestling. Hell yeah, bring her in.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, it doesn't matter why you watch for. I know plenty of dumbass guys that just watch for, oh, look at her butt. They could care less about what the actual wrestling is. If we allow those fans, why are we gatekeeping? Stop it. Let's cut it out.
Yeah, and also one thing I want to throw in there too is we don't need to see fans cutting promos on female wrestlers' husbands, calling them out like week in and week out, trying to book them for talking Shopomania 3 or whatever.
Look here, I was dead serious in all my promos. I would have taken him if he would have given me the chance.
Oh boy. But one thing before we close it out, and Jovan, you made me think about this when you're talking. You talk about just people of all, genders, orientations, races, religions, everything can all sit together down and have a good time talking. I thought about us at the AEW versus Pro Wrestling Tees softball game. I mean, it was you, me, and a bunch of other people. It was, our good friend Dallas, our good friend, I think Dan McKee was there. Then we had another Dan and his girl Yadi. I mean, we had a nice little group of us, but every single one of us was a different person. We weren't like a cookie cutter, that kind of, and that's just what makes wrestling great, is because people of all, races, genders, sexual orientations, whatever you want to call it, can enjoy this. And when we get to these shows, a lot of times we forget all about that and we're just fans. And why can't we take that and just spread that,
we hit the whole checklist because we even had Hector and Ty there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm pretty sure we hit every single freaking checklist of any kind of fan that you would have wanted just in our section watching the baseball game.
Yeah. And that's so, but it's just great topics here. I mean, the conversation's probably some of the best we've had in the show so far, at least from my opinion. And I hope those of you that are listening to this on, Spotify, now available on Apple, podcasts, Google, whatever, or watching this on YouTube and everything. We hope you, think the same way and enjoy the conversation, listening to this conversation as much as we enjoyed providing it. Guys, before we get, call it a night and stuff, we always talk about wanting to continue the conversation. We always want to talk about, let us know what you guys want us to discuss and shoot on here and stuff. And the easiest way to reach out to us is through social media. You can follow me on Facebook at Dennis W. Day Jr. And then you can follow me on Facebook as Dennis W. Day Jr. And then you can also follow me on Twitter at Dennis W. Day Jr. as well. Like I said, guys and gals, reach out to me. If there's something you want to hear us talk about, just let us know. We'll be sure to give you a shout out if you want, and who knows, it may make us think about something we never thought of in the past. Joey, how can people get a hold of you on social media?
The number one, the Pacific Island Playboy, the premier Joey K, with a special message to the IWC. You talk about your Psalms and your John 3:16. Well, Joey 3:16 says you should do better, and that is where I stand. And if you have a disagreement with me, you don't like my opinion, I don't care, but you can give me all the feedback you want. I'm not afraid to take it. Hit me up on Twitter at Joe Kuhn, Kuhn. You can find me on Facebook, Joe Kuhn, as well, too. Let me know what you think. Let me know your opinions. You want to debate me? Be my guest. Come at me with your hardest. You want to agree with me? Let me know what you agree with. And if you have another perspective, I'm open. Give it to me. Let me hear it. So I'm calling out the internet wrestling community. Come at me. Don't act entitled. I'll get back to you in my own damn time when I feel like it, but I will get back to you and I'll let you know what I think too. So come get me.
Joey 3:16 says do better. Coming soon to a t-shirt near you.
There you go.
Jay, how can people get a hold of you?
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I have been the hot one, the Shoot Talking Skywalker, the Suit Talker Skywalker's boy right there, the hot takes every single day. You can get me on Facebook, guys. Facebook at Javon Manacho, which is my given name, or if you want on the Twitter machine, throw it up at DFW Chairman, as in Dallas Fort Worth, Chairman as in Sean Spears 10. Let me know, guys. I'm there. If you find Joey K's Twitter, we follow each other, like we should. If you find DDJ's Twitter, we follow each other like we should.
Yep.
Tag all three of us. If you want to shoot the shit with all of us, guys, tag all three of us. Be like, here's something you should talk about. Tell us, if you want us to make you famous, we'll be like, here's a question that comes from this person on Twitter. We'll make you famous for all of 5 seconds, guys. So give us a shout out. Give us what your ideas are. But yeah, just do better.
Man, you just copied from the Undertaker and Edge there, Edge and Christian, in about a 5-second time frame there. Well done, well done.
Hey, time out. I have a
boy.
correction from episode 3.
Oh, boy.
hell.
So in episode 3, we shot on the PWI 500, and we gave our thoughts on the top 10. I stand corrected a week later. I would change out the top 10. I definitely would change out the top 10, and I'm going to tell you how I would change it out. And Javon, this is going to make you very happy.
Oh, I feel it.
I would eliminate Rich Swann. Rich Swann does not belong in the top 10. He should be replaced with one person. That person, in my opinion, is right here. The man, the foundation, Jonathan Gresham. I was in attendance to watch him go one-on-one for the title, the pure title, against Josh Woods in a great match. Great storytelling, athletic match. It was everything I hoped it would be as far as the pay-per-view. I loved it. I raved about it afterwards. Fantastic. And then fast forward to just 2 nights ago, I stayed up extremely late, and I don't know why, but I can tell you why, and he's the reason I stayed up. Minoru Suzuki versus Jonathan Gresham, GCW, highest in the room. That was absolutely awesome. Fantastic match. I love seeing Gresham do what he does because he is doing something that no one else right now is doing. He's putting on classic match after classic match. He carried the pure title for as long as he did, and that should continue. The pure division in Ring of Honor is fun and exciting. I don't care what anyone tells me different, and they don't, I don't like the pure rules. I don't like that. I don't care. I love it. I enjoy it. Don't hate on me because I love it. But 100%, he's going to be in my top 10. He should have been in the PWI top 10 for carrying an entirely, I shouldn't say new, but a revamped pure division that we haven't seen in Ring of Honor in a long time. Carried it through the pandemic, was the champion. And if you watch Ring of Honor TV, by the way, guys, it's free. You don't have to pay for it. You can catch it on Pluto, download the free app, sign wrestling on there for free. But he should have been in the top 10. It's a crime that he wasn't. So I stand corrected. I wanted to make that correction from episode 3. That's my choice.
You mentioned being free on Pluto TV. It's also free on Fight TV, I believe, as well as I believe the Ring of Honor website has the episodes as well.
Yes. YouTube, Ring of Honor puts them on YouTube, I think, as well too. Even if and especially on YouTube, if you don't, Ring of Honor puts up a highlight condensed version of their weekly matches. So if you don't have the time, but you have about 5 to 7 minutes from a 20-minute match, it edits it down. You get some of the best spots out of it. You get the finish. It's really, really, really good. So even though it's short on time, check it out, watch it. But watch Jonathan Gresham. What he's doing in the ring right now is beyond anything else that I'm watching. I love him. I couldn't wait to drop $30 on this T-shirt just for that specific reason.
You know, I said I'm a Rich Swann fan, but I you know what, I would have no issue if that were the case because well put. That's up. All right, guys. Well, we talked about trying to make this show short, but that didn't happen but it was because we had a lot of great conversation and back and forth exchange and stuff like that. And guys and gals, if you made it this far, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Again, we gave our socials. Let us know what you guys would like us to discuss because we don't do this show for The Rock. We do this for you. We do this for the people. So, but yeah, that's about all the time we have. This is DDJ. I want to thank my co-host, the Premier Joey K, and the Hot One Jay Manacho. Guys, great show, and ladies and gentlemen, this has been Shootin'.
The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at wrestlingwithjohners.com.